The movie opens in 2004 during Dr. Maria Bennett's Christmas trip to Thailand. She travels with her three boys, Lucas, Thomas, and Simon, as well as her husband, Henry. When they arrive, they decide to stay at the west coast of Thailand's Orchid Beach Resort. Hey guys, welcome to our channel, Mystery Recaps. Today, we will recap a 2012 drama movie named The Impossible. To know what happens later, keep on watching the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. They also took use of the resort's magnificent surroundings for a special Christmas Eve with the help of a hotel guide. That evening, everyone joins the family for supper. During supper, they launch a huge number of lanterns while having a blast with other travelers. There, Henry and Maria rouse their children the next morning so they may unwrap their special Christmas presents. Following that, they play ball together, have a swim, and snorkel to view the breathtaking coral reefs on the beach next to the resort. When Henry and his children continue to play in the water, Maria relaxes by reading a book. Shortly after, Maria's reading materials are destroyed as well. A strong wind suddenly blows from the coast. They are unaware that a sizable tsunami strikes the Indian Ocean, flooding the area at the same time. Thankfully, Maria is still hanging to the tree and can shout for aid. She ultimately finds Lucas, who is being carried away by the water not far from her shouting and dread. When they are able to eventually gather on a bed, she lets go of her grasp and swims to Lucas, despite the fact that she is wounded from being hit by a tree branch in her chest. After Lucas releases his hold, unexpectedly, another wave breaks on the coast. After the tsunami is over, they are once again forced to separate. After a while, Maria and Lucas emerge from the turbulent water and meet one another. Maria has sustained severe wounds. They walk ashore in an effort to get help, but nobody is close. Lucas worries about another tidal surge and advises climbing one of the big trees nearby. But first, Maria overhears a young child screaming for help. While they wait for help, they ultimately pull a small boy named Daniel from the rubble. They laboriously climb a big tree together. At conclusion, the water starts to gently recede. As a result of the tsunami, many people perished, homes were devastated, and trees fell. Thankfully, the villagers find them right away, attend to their injuries, and help them dress. Maria is grateful to them and grins. Following that, a vehicle transports them to a hospital in Taquapa. When they go, Daniel is kept separate from them since Lucas is only thinking about his mother. Lucas observes many patients in the clinic who have actually been wounded by the tsunami. His mother has been transferred to a treatment room, so he looks there for her. When she looks to be shaking, Lucas instructs Maria to provide antibiotics. Thankfully, a doctor arrives right away to treat the injuries. As soon as Lucas regained consciousness, Maria urged him to help others find their family members since she could see how busy the hospitals, medical staff, and nurses were caring for all the sick. What do you think? Will Lucas be able to find other family member? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Lucas is first concerned since it means he would be leaving his mother alone herself. Lucas ultimately agrees, though after Maria reassures him that she would be well. He then exits the room in shock and runs into a father who is hunting for his son. Lucas explores the hospital for the youngster after receiving his request for help. Yet it turns out that a number of other individuals also approach him to help them find their lost family members. He must thus record their names in a little notepad. He eventually finds the youngster, who happens to be the first person he ever met. He looked for so long. The youngster is then told that his father will call here. The two of them are finally quite happy after being reunited. Suddenly, remembering his mother's condition, Lucas enters the room again. But it turns out that his mother is not in the space. Since that his mother's condition has not changed, Lucas is worried. When someone else is sleeping in her bed, Lucas is much more terrified. Following that, a nurse calms him down by taking him to a child shelter. In order to make her hunt for Lucas's family easier, she asks Lucas about his identity. In a different scenario, Henry and the two younger sons are all alive and sharing a hotel room close to the beach. Afterwards, he persuades Thomas and Simon to join the neighborhood rescue squads and find safety in a mountain bunker. On the other side, Henry makes the decision to remain and search the resort for Maria and Lucas. Thomas first rejects and says he wants to stay with his father, but Henry gradually explains to him that he has to be able to take care of his younger brother and locate a secure hiding spot until their father discovers them. Henry keeps looking for answers on his own until he stumbles in the debris and gets hurt worse. He is lucky to be driven to the closest bus station with the other survivors by a passing driver. As they arrive at the scene, Henry and the other survivors share tragic stories about the tragedy. There aren't many ways to communicate at that period, therefore they can't talk to their own families. To get a European tourist who has also been separated from his family to call his family in England, Henry steals a phone. Henry expresses his sorrow and assures Mariah's father that he will continue to search for his family. Carl thus consents to accompany Henry in his quest for his family, who were also on the beach when the tsunami hit, along with Carl's. The nurse then brings Lucas to look at the deceased woman's jewels, which most likely belonged to Lucas's mother. Lucas did not, however, mention the jewels. Hours went by. Lucas is helped by the nurse to a room where he meets his mother, who has been transferred to an IQ private room. Maria requires surgery as soon as possible to close the incision on her chest, so the nurse apologizes. What do you think will Maria survive? Tell us in the comments section. When Lucas waits for his mother to arrive at the hospital, he comes into Daniel, who has been reconciled with his father. He is happy to see this and wants to inform his mum. Mariah, on the other hand, asks how her leg wound is doing as a result. Lucas tells the nurse that his mother's wounds are becoming worse. The nurse assures him that they would try their best and operate on Maria as soon as possible. While searching several locales, Henry and Carl are still unable to find their relatives. The chauffeur only allows Henry 5 minutes to find his family when they eventually get at the hospital and take your part before moving on to another shelter. In the hopes that Henry will also be able to find his family members, Carl also hands Henry a sheet of paper with their names on it. Lucas notices his father from a distance as Henry searches for his family as he is hunting for his mother's drinking water. Lucas goes for him right away. Henry is already running late since he already went back to the car. When a car stops in front of the hospital, it has Thomas and Simon in it at the same moment, and the lads go so Simon may urinate outside among the commotion of the throng for a moment. Still trying to catch up to his father, Lucas starts to lose hope and cries as loudly as he can. Unexpectedly, Thomas and Simon, who were ready to return to the car, hear Lucas cry, and they at last cross paths. The three of them are also found together by their father. Lucas then lets them know that Maria is now in the hospital and getting ready for another leg operation. Henry promises her wife that the procedure will soon go well as they rush inside her room. When Henry's family approaches, the nurse lets them know that Maria is prepared for surgery. The family also stays by Mariah's side as she makes her way to the surgery room. When the anesthetic sends her to sleep, Maria, on the other hand, is feeling more motivated. After meeting another patient who wants to survive, she had flashbacks of how she was harmed and exited the sea. As his mother is having surgery, Lucas tells Henry he has something very important to say to her. As they wait patiently for the procedure to be successful, they must also spend the night outside. The next day, Henry tells Lucas that they will be going home after the operation. Mariah's family hopped on an ambulance to Singapore, so she might eventually get more medical attention. They run into a representative from their insurance provider, who assures them that everything will be taken care of. Lucas observes a large number of individuals perusing patient lists outside the hospital. Daniel is safe with his father, Lucas later tells his mother. Maria feels happy for him since he helped people around him. She glances out the window at the mayhem in Thailand. So guys, that's it for today. Check out this video